Let's rock.
Welcome back to Nerd Shit in the Dark, everyone. I'm your host, Chase the Chaz Skripek, and a little news update on this episode. Braden the Brad Neilster, he is moving. So the great things, but he's busy this week with moving, so he couldn't be on the show tonight. So I asked for a little help from an old friend of mine, and I say old because she's an old woman. Not that we've been friends for a long time. And give it up for Becky, the Boosk, Arnold.
Hello. Hi. I'm not old. I swear. I'm 30 years old. Nice to meet you all. Very excited to be here. Not excited about that introduction, though. So
sorry. Yeah. Well,
it's cool. She
is younger than me, but to some people, since you're a lady, 30's old.
I am past my prime.
And this is an episode where we're going to be covering a lady-based thing, so I thought it best to have a lady on.
Very true. I'm really excited to get there.
You've watched How I Met Your Mother?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, Barney Stinson wouldn't even talk to you right now.
No, absolutely not. Past that age.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's something. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Becky.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to be here. Like, seriously, so excited. I have notes.
You have notes. I love notes.
I made notes.
Notes are good. Notes are good. I make notes sometimes. I should make notes more often, but I don't. When I was doing South Park in the Dark, I did notes a lot, but we kind of took a hiatus after the birth of my child because I ran out of time to do that podcast. But we're gonna get back to it, shitters. But yeah, I can't wait to hear what your notes are. So tell the shitters a little something about yourself so they can get to know you before they get to know more of you.
Absolutely. All right. So I unfortunately
throws the pen down.
Yeah, I threw the pen down. Sorry. I unfortunately moved to the state of Ohio back in 2017. I don't think Chase ever forgave me for that move. But I live in Ohio. Just quit it. The faces he's making. Moved to Ohio. I'm actually a plant manager of a hazardous waste recycling facility here.
And since she's in Ohio, there's a lot of hazardous waste everywhere, so it keeps her busy.
Job security. Oh my God, it's perfect. So yeah, I get rid of the waste in a responsible manner. It's a lot of fun, a lot of cool stuff. So my nerd passions, I'm really into Nintendo. My Nintendo Switch is my favorite gaming console. Not much of a PC gamer. I know it's. A lot of people won't like to hear that, but
honestly, dude, I have everything, and I would also say that my Switch is my favorite. It's definitely the one that gets the most mileage on it. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, and the older I get and the more responsibilities I have at work and like less free time, it's Nintendo games are the games that I can just relax with. I don't have to stress about them. I don't have to worry about, strategy and all that stuff. I like cozy, simple games. The Nintendo series, obviously, we'll get there, Legend of Zelda, but that's sort of my interests in terms of the nerddom. So, obviously, anime as well.
Yeah. Nobody can see this, but like Becky's background is multiple figures of Link, looks in some Pokemon stuff. I see the Game of Thrones books back there. So I didn't just ask any old hussy to be on the show here tonight. I figured I'd get one that was a nerd. And I said in the last episode, I think something along the lines of like, girls are scary and we were afraid of girls. But Becky has always been someone who's more like a guy in my mind anyway. So it's fine. It's totally fine.
Thanks so much for that.
Yeah.
That's so nice to hear.
Side comment, I'll probably cut this out, but Nos sent me a Snapchat today. Did he send one to you?
I don't have Snapchat
anymore.
Okay. I haven't used it in years.
It was one. It was one that he. It just said PP Arnold. It was somebody's name. P. Arnold. So I wrote back to him. I was like, "It's Becky's lost penis." To which I did not get a response. But I thought it was funny.
Thanks. I've been looking for him, so if you know where he's at, let me know.
somewhere in Maryland, somewhere.
Wow.
Also at some sort of waste facility, or I don't know. Nos does something with like dolphins, I think. I'm not really ever sure.
Oh, of course you would do something with dolphins.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So tradition on the show, Becky, is when we have a guest on, I like them to start the new nerd shit segment.
Okay.
So I let you take the mic for your. I don't know how many things you have before Zelda, but I say go with what you're feeling best about. I'm gonna do as far as mine go. I'm gonna say something I liked and something I didn't like.
Okay. All right. I'll kind of match that. So. This is an oldie, but new for me, right? And I've been really into it lately, and I know you've talked about it before. My Hero Academia. I don't know why it took me so long to actually get into that show, but I'm invested, and it's just I can pick it up whenever I want. I don't have to. Another thing, I don't have to stress about it, but
it's the Nintendo of anime, really.
It really is, and I feel really basic saying that, but it's one of those things I can just come home, turn it on. My husband likes it. It's something that we can both enjoy.
You guys work out, and it's a good. Awesome. When I was like first starting around working out, it was a show that really connected with me. I was like,
oh hell yeah!
The second episode when Deku like trains on the beach with All Might, it's so inspiring.
It is. I know, right? And like just his like sheer will to always train and better himself, and like plus ultra, and I'm like, hell yeah, plus ultra. Like,
plus ultra all the way. Man. Do you like
ultra.
That he cries? Are you cool with his crying? You think that makes
absolutely?
Him,
I think it makes him more human, right? Like he's so emotional.
Are you caught up? Are you?
No.
You're browsing through it.
No, I'm at. I think we're just about to start season 4. When? Oh, is that all that's out?
No, I think season 7 is going on right now.
I thought we had.
I was gonna say it's a great time to get into My Hero Academia because it's almost anime. Like the manga just wrapped up and the anime is not far behind. So like,
oh sweet,
you'll get to watch basically the whole way through. Which yeah.
That's great. No, I'm really enjoying like the Midoriya. Holy shit! Like or Bakugo. I mean,
you love Bakugo.
I love Bakugo. Like he's just
Bakugo's
yelling
probably
all
my favorite
time.
too.
He's so good.
He's cool. He's cool. And they really develop out his character in season 3 like a lot. You get to kind of know why he's got a fucking chip on his shoulder for all the show.
When he just basically looks at Midoriya and he said, "Meet me out back," and they fucking duke it out.
Meet me by the third tree, bitch.
Exactly. It's just perfect.
Yeah. I've watched that episode over and over and over. That's the thing. Like, I know I've read it all the way, so I know how it ends, and it bobs and weaves a little quality-wise, but in season 3 is probably some of its best shit, and it's really where it dives into, like, the character development of Bakugo is so unique, but also, like, I feel like something we don't touch on all. It's like how communication can just go completely fucking wrong between two people that are best friends, but, like, no idea how to talk to each other. No idea how the other feels about them.
Right?
Until they fight.
At all. Until they fight it out and literally just throw their emotions at each other.
That's near the end of season 3, right?
Near the end, yeah. Too long ago.
Because the camp is the beginning, right, of season 3?
Yeah, the camp is the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep, when
that's
they all
some
get
good
attacked.
shit, too. That's some...
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
That's good shit. But, I just... can't get over that entire relationship, but anyway, that's been my current new nerd thing, other than our main event. So
that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm excited. I'm gonna keep asking you things about it. I gotta watch more of season 7 because My Hero Academia is one of those ones where I've been reading. I have all the manga. They're over here somewhere. I don't want to dig through all that shit, but like. It's way better to just watch it. Like, the way the animation's done, it's pretty to look at. It gets better every season. It's just, I don't know. The pacing's a lot better when you can watch an episode instead of waiting a week for a chapter. Like, the last arc, seriously, was 3 years worth of material reading. And I'm just so glad people will just get to watch that shit. Plus, it looks cool.
Yeah.
And there's some fun twists along the way. Season 4 is pretty good. The first half of season 4 is pretty good. My only gripes with My Hero Academia is it does this like back and forth where like they'll do some really cool shit for an arc, and then they'll like do some dumb school shit for like a lot of episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys said it in your last episode, but like every anime takes place in a school. Like there's gonna be school shit. Like it's just the basic trope of anime.
Yeah, just a little less with some of it. The second half of season 4, I just was like, you could have trimmed the fat off of some of this a little bit more, but you'll get there.
For sure.
You'll get there. Well, that's cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think that's a perfect little anime for you.
Yeah, I'm really looking.
It's not too intricate. They're like one that I've been watching. Well, for a couple years now, but I'm a big fan of Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm sure if you know anything about.
I tried it. Okay.
That one is complex. I've had to read it over a couple times to really know what I'm doing with it.
I watched it. Listen, I gave it like 3 or 4 episodes, I think, because my one coworker, it's just her favorite.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I appreciate, over the top anime fights, but I couldn't get over how over the top every single one of the Jujutsu Kaisen fights were.
Oh, wow.
It was just like blowing up mountains every time. There was no scale to the fights, and I think I was losing myself in. I was disconnecting myself from the actual show because I was like, that's so. How would they even survive? And I know it's anime, and I know it's fake, but
you can't go.
I can't. I know, it's so crazy.
You can't go that perspective into anime.
You can't, and normally I don't, right? Like, I mean, My Hero Academia, crazy shit happens. I don't have an issue with it, but I don't know, Jujutsu Kaisen, I couldn't.
It's really good. It's really good. It's certainly not for everybody, but a lot of people. It just ended though, and I will say the ending was kind of like really weird, like kind of bizarre.
Really?
Like it didn't like it. It just felt like the final arc was really awesome, and then they won the fight. And then there were all these kind of loose threads that you were like, are we going to talk about any of this shit? And like, not only did they not talk about it, but like they just kind of did like 3 random chapters and then it was just done. And I was like, that feels odd, but okay. But, you have that. It's not for everybody, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's another one that like school setting because they're Jujutsu sorcerer school.
Yeah, right.
School's pop. Japan really needs to make school cool because they're in school all the time over there.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
That's so true.
So if they make it exciting on television, then maybe people at school. It made school better for me. I'm constantly telling people that like most of my personality is a child that was brought up watching anime. So like. A lot of my mannerisms to my core are based around how anime characters act.
Those of you who don't know Chase in real life, he actually does run with both arms behind his back outstretched.
God damn.
He does. He was...
If you only knew the people that joke about that with me. Swag, the guy I do South Park in the Dark with, he constantly like knows that I'm an anime fan, so he makes Naruto run jokes. And my sister was showing old pictures the other day, and in the background, I'm 4 or 5. Naruto isn't even out, but you can just see me in the background running with my arms back like a Naruto run, and I was like, fuck me, dude.
Before Naruto even happened.
Yeah,
that's
like
amazing.
Years before Naruto came out. Years.
That's
so
awesome.
You'll have that. All right, enough of this anime talk.
Right.
But I do got a cartoon. I saw a cartoon. I went to the movies and saw a cartoon. Miranda and I went and checked out the new Transformers 1 movie. Have you seen commercials for this? It's got
I haven't.
It's got Chris Hemsworth voicing Optimus Prime. Like it's in who's oh my god. You've seen Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse?
You're gonna hate me, but I haven't.
Oh,
it's
Becky,
on my list.
You fucking animal.
I'm gonna disappoint you.
I'm gonna actually we're gonna have to get somebody else on the show.
And folks, that's it. Thank you so much.
It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. But the guy that voices Miles Morales' dad in that, he voices Megatron. You probably haven't seen any of the new Godzilla vs. Kong movies.
No.
That's not even. Stupid question on my part. You haven't seen Spider-Verse. Why the fuck would you see those? Right on.
Movies aren't my jam, but yeah.
I should really remember this guy's name, but whatever. It's an origin story for like Megatron and Optimus, and it's before Optimus's name is like Orion Pax, and Megatron has some other name, and it's an origin story for how they kind of came to be who they are. And I will say this about this movie. It tries to be funny. The trailers really turned me off about it because it seemed very like too funny, too goofy. I didn't see the Transformers in it, so I was like, the trailer just doesn't look good. And then like they showed it at some festival a couple months back. Good reviews. Then it came out for like a pre-release. Good reviews. The movie came out. Stellar reviews. I'm just like, I gotta check this fucking movie out. People calling it the best Transformers movie they have ever seen. A guy that I listened to, he was a kid in the 80s, so like he's been a Transformers fan, and he said immediately out of the theater, he's like, this is the Transformers movie I've waited my entire life to see. So I was like, I gotta go check this movie out. And dude, it was a pretty fucking awesome movie.
Really?
It was a really good Transformers movie. Like,
Yeah.
My favorite Transformers movie is Bumblebee, but I think it's because that's a really good movie with Transformers in it. You know what I'm saying?
Whereas, I do. I get what you're saying. Yep.
Like it's just E.T. with Transformers, but it's good. Whereas this is like a really fucking good Transformers. Like people that knew Transformers, love Transformers, made this movie. It does a lot of humor. Most of the humor doesn't land. For me, personally, but I wasn't getting a lot of... Some do. And I thought, because at the beginning it's really trying to be funny, so when things aren't landing, you're a little worried. But it makes up for the funniness that it doesn't have with everything else that it's doing in the movie. To set the scene, like the Transformers, it's set on Cybertron, and all the people that live on Cybertron know is there's these other aliens out there that came to the planet and tried to kill everyone. It killed all the primes except for one, and they all live like underground now and have to mine for energon. So only certain Transformers can even actually transform. All the other ones, they're like, that's not even something we can do. We just have to mine. That's all we can do. And there's all these twists and turns along the way where like they find out that like, oh no, we should all be able to transform. Like this is yeah, they learn like the guy in control is a fucking motherfucker. And it makes for a really compelling, because it's sort of a twist. You don't think he's a motherfucker at first, and then all of a sudden, spoiler on this movie a little, but like that's not too big of a detail, because once this guy kind of comes out, Orion Pax and whatever Megatron's name is, they're fucking buddies. Like the heart and soul of this movie is these two just broing it out together the whole movie, and it's heartbreaking because the whole time you're thinking, well, this doesn't end with them being boys by the end of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. They kind of go on this, they sneak onto a train that leads to like the surface, and that's when they start learning some of the hidden truths of the world. And where Optimus finds he needs to kind of guide people, Megatron is more like, I can't trust anybody anymore. And it's really like their motivations are very believable to who those characters are. And
that's really interesting, and that's really cool.
It's a cool, like they even go on, like there's a post-credit scene, and this is not really a spoiler, sort of, but not really. But what the post-credit scene kind of does is sets up the term Decepticon as something that's like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's what a way to look at the term Decepticon instead of, because like usually you hear and people are like, oh, they're called the Decepticons. Like, whoa, because they're telling you they're evil. But this movie kind of gives it a twist that makes you kind of go like, oh,
gives you the background behind it, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this movie. It's animated super interestingly, and it's constantly moving. Like it's a movie that's just, it's moving all the time, and it's special, animated effects, and once they start transforming, there's just shit happening constantly. And it's not a long movie. It's a cartoon. It's like an hour and a half, but they plow in content. They meet Bumblebee and RC, and they also get the Transformer power, and yeah, super cool. It's
pretty cool.
Good
so
fights.
If I could summarize it for you real quick.
Yeah.
Just robot workers unionize, bring down the big boss, right?
Yes.
Two bros, start growing up in their lives, grow apart from each other because one has trust issues and the other is, hey, savior, gonna help these people.
Optimus fucking Prime.
Optimus fucking Prime.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a pretty dope movie.
It is, and I would really recommend it. And like I said, if the humor doesn't catch you at first, whatever. But some of it is funny. But once it really starts telling its story,
try to warm you up to the humor. Like, is that just like, hey, do you get?
I think in a way it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't, because like right away it's like a scene of like Optimus, voiced by Thor, being kind of goofy. So you're like, oh, this is odd. Like Optimus Prime isn't usually goofy, not goofy, but what am I even trying to say? I don't know. He feels like Star-Lord in the beginning of the first Guardians, dancing to fucking music and shit. But I'll say this: by the end of the movie, not only with just their voice acting capabilities, but like just what both actors bring to those characters, they really become, like, when he becomes Optimus Prime, he fucking is. And Chris Hemsworth sounds almost identical to a point like fucking Optimus Prime. Same with Megatron. You hear their voices just slowly kind of become most honorable man, fucking monster.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, and it's full of lore. It's full of like Transformers Easter eggs to just all things Transformers. Yeah. So you get a lot out of it if you know Transformers. Yeah, it was fun. It's a good movie.
I love a good origin story. There's nothing better.
Love it. It's a fantastic.
And this is a throwback, but like, Rogue One blew my mind when I saw it. I was like, holy shit! Like this, I don't know what, I loved that movie, and I don't know
the first Transformers.
No, Rogue One. Sorry.
Oh, Rogue One. I think you said. I just heard one. Yeah, Rogue One's a fucking awesome movie.
Awesome movie. I was just blown away by that. So I just love that, like, that missing piece before. Yeah. A big franchise.
Have you watched Andor?
No.
You need to watch Andor, dude. It takes place before Rogue One, and I'm telling you, Becky.
What?
I'm
making notes. I'm writing it down.
Oh, dude. I might cut this, because I don't know if it's sacrilegious or not, and I think people seem to kind of agree this might be going too far. But Andor, the first season, might fucking be the best Star Wars has ever been.
Whoa!
Like, the original trilogy will always be my favorite in that realm of Star Wars. But when it comes to just making a quality film, it's like Bumblebee. How that's a good film, and then there's a good Transformers film. Andor's just solid. Like, if you liked Rogue One, it's that and more. It's that same guy directed it, same actor. It's all, and like season 2 is gonna lead directly into the beginning of Rogue One, and that comes out sometime next year. But I would recommend. It's 12 episodes. It's so fucking good, dude.
Hell yeah! Good. I just got Disney Plus, so is it on Disney Plus?
Of course, it's on Disney Plus.
Of course, it's on Disney Plus. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, totally. If you want to take a little break from your Nintendo-y little My Hero Academia, watch this. It'll make you feel some shit. And I will say, it's one of those shows where it's kind of a slow, just for a couple episodes. Like, when it came out, they dropped the first 3 episodes right away. And I know why they did that. But if you watch those first 3, it's like, all right, let's see what it gets. And it just gets better and better and better. I almost jumped out of my seat in the season finale.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Origin stories, when done well.
Yes. Beautiful.
Very beautiful. Yes. And you know what else is another good origin story that I think you'd like?
What's that?
Spider-Verse.
Okay, I'll write that one down too.
So good. That movie blew my mind. That movie is pretty much why me and Braden are friends.
Oh my god. When did that come out? It's not that old.
2018.
Oh, it's older than I thought.
Yeah, it came out in like November, December of 2018.
Didn't they have a new Spider-Verse movie recently?
Yeah, that one came out last year.
Oh, okay.
So that's the second one, but yeah.
Okay.
Second one's still good, but oh man, that first one, dude. I don't see a lot of movies over and over again in theaters, especially nowadays. But like, I think I saw Spider-Verse 4 times in theaters. Jeez. I love the shit out of it. Yeah, it was good.
Awesome.
Make some time. Right. Now.
I will. I'll try. I'll try my best.
I believe in you.
I know. So, My turn. Do I go next? How does this work?
It's your turn. Yeah, we go back and forth. It's like tennis.
Yeah. Okay. So
Wii tennis, of course.
Wii tennis.
Yeah, because I don't play real sports.
Wear your wrist wrap.
Of course. You don't want to break your TV. Jesus.
Of course not. Oh, jeez. Animal. Okay, so podcasts. Obviously, this is one. But
Allegedly.
this is my second time listening through the first, I'll call it, campaign of the Adventure Zone. Have you listened?
I don't even know what this is.
Really?
Campaign of the Adventure Zone?
The Adventure Zone. Oh my God. All right. So do you know My Brother and Me?
Yeah.
Podcast? Yeah. It's those guys and their dad.
Oh, wait, hold on. No, I thought you meant, do I know your brother? Like your brother. Like your actual brother. And you were like, you know how me and my brother are.
Yeah. My brother, okay. My brother and me.
I don't know that podcast.
Never mind. Well, it's a comedy podcast, but they're three brothers, and they started a D&D podcast with their dad.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the brothers, his name is Griffin. He is such a good storyteller. And his brothers are goofs. He's a goof. His dad's a goof. But they actually put together a extremely fantastically written story out of this generic D&D campaign. Mm-hmm. It morphs into I think it's like a 5 or 6 chapter campaign that actually builds into a kick-ass story that you didn't see coming.
Yeah.
With humor mixed in as well, which obviously is important. But basically these three brothers, and their dad are playing, which is super funny, I think. But they have a fighter, a dwarf, and a dwarf cleric and a elf wizard. Okay. And they fucking just rock this story, and the episodes are pretty long, like an hour and a half each, but I'm on episode 67. The second time through this,
holy fuck, you really like this.
I came back to it. I listened to some of their other campaigns, and they're just not as solid as this story was in particular.
So this specific campaign is the one that
Correct. The first one, the best. I really highly recommend it. I know you have a lot of other stuff going on, but if you're in the car, long car rides, this is perfect for it.
My job is
they do character voices. It's great. So,
what's it called again?
The Adventure Zone.
The Adventure Zone. Right. Oh.
Yeah. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I don't. How do I say this? I don't know much about Dungeons and Dragons, but I do. I'm one of those people where I've never actually played Dungeons and Dragons, but I've played a lot of Baldur's Gate 3.
Which is the same thing,
right? It's just a Dungeons and Dragons video game. And I've watched Vox Machina. I've listened to their podcast. Those guys. What is their name? They're pretty popular people that basically do this. They play Dungeons and Dragons. They're all voice actors, and they get together and play. And they made an anime or a cartoon that covers their campaigns. So there's their podcast, their YouTube show, but then their Amazon Prime has their animated version of that with them voicing their characters. Vox Machina, The Legend of Vox Machina is the name of the show. I should know their fucking names. Matt Mercer's one of them. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah. Okay, I've heard his name. They name drop him all the time.
Yeah. So
the original D&D podcast guy.
I've dabbled with things like this, and I'm interested in listening to people kind of talk about these kind of things.
Yeah, the thing about Adventure Zone, it's not highly technical. So there's a lot of things I think true D&D fans get pissed about and rage type to them, that's not how you do a group heal. It actually takes 15 minutes. Blah blah blah. I don't know.
I wouldn't know the difference.
Exactly. I don't either. Yeah. So it's this is great for me. Easy listening. And if they would have done all the technical stuff, it would have taken away from the story and the fun.
Sure.
So they do cut through it quite a bit. But they have a graphic novel, too, that's still, in the works. So I'm reading that along with it.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little treat at the end of the day. Read a few pages of the graphic novel.
God, that's
see how it goes. Yeah,
that's a really cool way to do, an audio book. I'm doing this thing where I'm reading books, and when I can't read them, I listen to the audiobooks. So that's a fun way to like listen to a podcast tell a story, read a comic book that you can visually actually see the story. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
Oh, dude.
I have a question about the audiobook book thing that you have going on. Because I thought of this, and I was like, man, it'd be great if I could switch in between reading and an audiobook. But how do you know where you're at in the audiobook when you're reading the physical book? How do you find your spot?
Well, I sort of read to chapters a lot.
Okay.
So I do that. But even when I don't, so if I'm doing it, I'm listening and I got to go back to the book. I do I'll listen to the last couple words a person says and then go into the book roughly where I think in the chapter that's taking place, find that word. It's a little harder the other way around. So I try to, if I'm going to start listening to it, make sure that I finished a chapter so I can just start it on the chapter. So that's typically how I do it. I've been reading the Wheel of Time. If you didn't listen to the last episode, I'm currently halfway through the third book and I am just balls deep into this shit. I love it. It's so fucking good.
That's how many books in that series? Isn't it a ton?
There are 14 and a prequel, so 15. But I'm skipping the prequel because my friend that told me to read them told me I should, or that I could. Told me that I could.
Gotcha.
And I will. And the fact that I'm only almost 3 books in and how much shit has already happened, I'm just like, what the fuck is gonna happen by the end of a 14 episode saga of this shit? Man. Oh my god, this guy packs so much content. By the time I finish the first book, they're all 600 page books, so they're big ass books, but he puts so much into even that. I was talking to my buddy, the guy that told me to read, Tori's fiance Jake. Okay. He's big fan, hates the show. A lot of people hate the show. I'm starting to realize why. But I was like, I gotta check these books out. We have them at the library. I'm interested. I'm really into Lord of the Rings shit right now, the past couple weeks. So I was like, I want to try some new fantasy. I'm feeling a different kind of fantasy. And I am so fucking glad I jumped into these books, man. They are awesome. They are so good.
I've heard they're good. I have a coworker who I think he's on his 4th time reading them.
Wow. So, I will read them once and never pick them up again, but not because...
He told me they were 600 page
books.
Dense,
dude. They're dense. I'm sitting here thinking how am I ever gonna get through all this? But I mean, I only started them a couple weeks ago. I'm reading about 100 or more pages a day.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I put time aside to just sit and read this shit because it's just so. And every chapter ends with me just being like, "Oh, I gotta figure out what's gonna happen." Sometimes I'll just get sick of something, especially if I've read a book and it's a series and I've read 2 of it. I'll be like, I need to take a break before I read the next one. I need some time. Right. Not this. Every day I start to think that. I start listening and I'm just like, no, I gotta find out what fucking happens with this group of people.
I'm gonna have to try that out. I'm looking for some good book series because I just finished 4th Wing, so I'm waiting on that book to come out in January.
Yeah, that one comes out in January. I haven't finished the second one yet, so I'm still working on that. That's one of those ones that I'm going to wait till just before the third one comes, and I'll read through the second one. Sora was born a week after the fucking second book came out, so I was just I started it and got nowhere. But with Wheel Time, I've been telling people this, because the first week I had it, I only read about 50 pages, because it was a lot at once, and it's kind of slow at those first 50 pages, because you're hearing names, you're hearing words, you're hearing things you don't understand, and then you're just oh, this is a lot. And then he just fucking hits you with some action and you're like, oh, okay. And once it reached that point of action at the start of the book, I just was like, okay, I'm in. Who cares about whatever just happened? I had to get to know these guys somehow. Let's fucking go. And I mean, they've just been taking me for weeks now.
Yeah, that's I'm glad you like them, because no offense to my coworker, his name's Aaron. Nobody will ever actually know who I'm talking about, so I'm just going to say his name.
Yeah.
He is one of those guys who I feel like he's on a different wavelength in terms of intelligence, where his conversation with you is probably I feel dumb compared to him, if that makes sense. He's just on another level of intelligence where he sees things that I don't. It's almost like he sees another spectrum of fucking colors or something. And we're just lowly, peasants compared to him. So I was like, oh, he reads this massive series. It's probably very complex and confusing. You mentioned in the first 50 pages, all these people, I I got stressed out about the fun.
It can be complex and confusing, I will say that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you can understand it, it shouldn't be that hard. So, I mean,
yeah,
I think I can handle it.
I think you can handle it. Yeah. I think it is pretty, there's a lot going on. There's some things that I think do go a little over my head from time to time. The writer is very descriptive. So like, I think that's what I like about him is like 1 second you're like hearing about like, and this person's belt was a shade of brown that looked as if it was mahogany carved from marble. So shit like that. And then out of nowhere, he was like, an arrow pierced the door and almost killed this character. And you're like, whoa. We just, action just...
Man's belt.
I've never had to go back so many times in a book to read a part over because I'm like, wait, what? Did I miss something? No, we're just going now. Okay, fuck. And he does it all the time. And another thing I really like about him, and we will move on, is I've been through 2 books totally now. I'm working through the 3rd. The first book, there was about 100, a little less than 100 pages left. And I was like, we've done a lot of shit, but like, man, I don't know how we're going to ever get to like a whole final act type of deal with just like a little less than 100 pages. We haven't even kind of started the final act yet. How are we going to do this? And this motherfucker came in and basically was like, yeah, we're going to meet this whole new town real quick. And then okay, final act shit, final battle, crazy shit, all this stuff. And it worked. Like he pounded it all into these 100 pages. And I was just like, wow, I was surprised.
Whew.
I get to the second book, Becky. There is like 50 pages left. I'm certain in my head, I'm like, oh, there's going to be so many stories unresolved. He's going to leave it hanging until the 3rd book, like, which is fine. There's 14 books. I expect some carryover. So I was like, no. This motherfucker comes out and does it in 50 pages again. Like, sure, there's lingering some stuff, but like the main things I was like, there's no way they're going to wrap this up well. He just comes out and fucking nails it. And then leaves you something to be like, well, I gotta start the next book, I guess. Fuck.
Do you think he does that on purpose? Like, I'm gonna just throw these guys for a loop here. Watch me tie up all of these loose ends in 25 pages. The next book, it'll be 15.
Dude,
at the end, it'll be a page.
Maybe every book I finished, I was just, 1 page, dude. Oh my God. He had to use a little bit smaller of a font, but just like a little bit. Yeah, it's crazy. And I was talking to the guy last night that got me into it, and he goes on about how the last 3 books are the best fucking books, like way better than even the shit I'm already reading. I'm just like, that's so good to know that like it's a series that just keeps getting better. He's like, Chase, there's a chapter in one of the final books. It's 160 something pages. I'm just like, a chapter? Like that's a lot for one chapter. And he just said, that's how you do an ending. And I was like, holy fuck, dude. All right, I'm in. I cannot wait to get there, but it's going to be a while.
Yeah, that is a great feeling though, because when you find a good book series, you know there's an end, and you know it's usually coming soon. But knowing there's 14 books, like you should be sitting like high as a kite right now, just like fuck yeah, enjoying every second of it.
I'm trying to, and I'm tomorrow's my day where I drive. I have to drive Sora to my mom and back, so that's 40 minutes. I have my stops in Carthus, PA, which is like 40 something minutes from the library, so 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. I'm gonna get like 3 hours of just solid listening to the audiobook tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to that. I like reading it myself, but when I can't, the audiobook's pretty good, pretty good. You get a lot of names. There's 2 different voice actors because there's like different groups, and there's like a more female-led group, so like that's voiced by the girl, and then the male does like the more male-led groups. And so good. In my head, I'm just I was thinking in the shower today, why did those Game of Thrones motherfuckers do Game of Thrones and it wasn't finished? Because they're so good at adapting, so good. I'm like, why didn't they do this series that was done by the time that show came out? You know, like. Because I know the Amazon Prime show for this sucks. And I like went to Google Scenes that I was like, I'd like at least to see this. And I would watch a scene and just go like, oh, they fucked that. Like they fucked that a lot. Yeah. So I'm just like, this thing that like I feel like really deserves it, I wish they would have done it. And that's just something I thought about in the shower this morning. Shower thoughts with Chase Skripek.
Chase Skripek. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
New podcast coming to you.
Yeah.
Next week.
Oh boy, the things I could tell you. There is always a portion of those shower thoughts where I go, oh fuck, because the fucking hot water turned on and blasted me and burned my skin off. But you'll have that. You'll have that. I do have one other new nerd shit before we start talking about Zelda. Even though this is another thing I love about having guests on, is it's when we just branch into other things on our subjects, and I love it. So last October, I played through 3 Castlevania games for like the Halloween season that I talked about on this show. 3 fantastic Castlevania games. So I thought, hey, this year, I'll do it again. I'll play through 3 Castlevania games, 1 for each podcast. And I had downloaded this one on my Steam Deck a while back. It was on the Steam sale. It's called Castlevania Lords of Shadow, which was a game that came out on the 360 and PS3 era like 10 years ago.
Okay.
They made a 3DS port of that. In a more... So like in the Xbox version, it's kind of behind the back action kind of game. But you've played Castlevania.
Yes.
They're kind of side-scrollery, back and forth, read-a-map type of games. So when I saw there was a version of that game that was more like the classic Castlevania, I was like, oh, I'll give that a try. And I went on and I looked at some reviews, and this is where I really want to stress to the world. Sometimes the world makes you believe a reality because you go to a comment section and you read people's comments about things and you think, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. So IGN gave this game a 4.5. All of the comments, Becky, are people just being like, this is unbelievable. Like, the game came out like 12 years ago on the 3DS, but like this is game's at least an 8, a 9. You know, this game's... Somebody literally said, this is one of the best, not one of the best Castlevania games, best games I've ever played. So I'm just sitting there reading going, all right, maybe this, like, I could see a reviewer giving a game a bad rating, and maybe it's like actually exceptional. Let's go into it. So I've been putting it off for months and months and months, but I was like, I'll get to it. I played some stellar Metroidvania games over the past couple of years. Stellar. I played some great Castlevania games over the years. I'm here to tell you that 4.5 might be kind of rude, but I will say it's a 5 at best. Those people on YouTube that are commenting, as probably always, are out of their goddamn mind, dude. This game...
But it sounds like that was the popular comment. Why would that be the case? Who are these people? Did you look further into who they are, their identities? Because I would like to know.
No, I didn't, because I just didn't want to give it any more time. So I'll be straight with you. I didn't even finish it, but I am close. I'm near the end. I was going to finish it today, but I forgot to take my Steam Deck with me. But
why would you put your effort into a game you didn't like?
Because I wanted to talk about it with just full perspective. And it has, here's the thing, it has good qualities, but those good qualities do not save it. And sometimes in my head I think to myself, remember, it is a 3DS game, but I'm also thinking to myself, the fucking games I played last year were a Game Boy Advance game, a DS game, and a PlayStation 1 game, and they were way fucking better. So it's not even about that. But like, this game was just so big, like... Some of the fun things about Castlevania is like bringing up the map and trying to figure out where you've been, where you haven't been, going back and forth, doing all that shit. This game doesn't really have that in a satisfying way. Like, there's always an arrow that kind of tells you where to go. You have to like shuffle through the map system to make sure you're seeing every part. I did not like that. I didn't like, just like not having to figure anything out. Like, there were some things that you'd have to figure out, but it was just like the worst possible version of a game. And it controlled like dick too. It's one of those games where like when you jump, if you get too close to a ledge, he'll just grab onto it. If you are grabbed onto something, like I felt like I had to hit up like 3 times for the motherfucker to either get up or sometimes he'd just let go. And
you're just like, God damn it.
There were really bad controls. And I'm just like, the 3DS was better than this. And I'm playing like a remastered version of it on my Steam Deck. But like, fuck. And it's just so, it was so basic. Like you had just your whip and you could do like combos with the whip, but they all essentially did the same shit. And the thing I did like about it was, and it's a good thing and a bad thing, you play 3 different characters throughout it, which is kind of cool. And for like story wise, that was also kind of cool. But like the 3 different characters don't really do too much different. Like you have your whip and then you get like items, and every character got like 2 different kinds of items, and those were a little different, but it was just like 2 each. It didn't really matter because you play as Simon Belmont at the beginning, and then it switches to Alucard in the middle, and then it's Trevor Belmont at the end. And like they had a couple different powers. Something cool about the other Castlevania games, by the end of like a game, you have gathered so many different abilities that you're just flying through the map. I'm near the end of this game still being like, fuck, I have to do all this shit to get from point A to point B. It was not fun. I liked the character shift, but it was also just like, you'd get so far with one character, and then, oh, you're
just
back.
Far enough for you to be like, oh, now you can go this one.
Start
like,
over with this one a little.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and like, all of their ability, because they also had like a magic ability, but like, they didn't really do that much either. Like the one guy had something that like healed you all the time, which was convenient, but like, and all the like there are some good boss fights. That's something I like about Castlevania. None of these boss fights even come close to any of the good ones in all the other games, but there are still some fun ones. But most of them are just like, I don't know, if you just whip enough, like if you just swing and press the buttons enough, you'll win. You'll beat the boss.
You'll be fine.
And when you die, like there's checkpoints in the boss fight, so you're just like, oh, there's really no stakes here as long as I get this far. It was not fun. I was really disappointed with it. I do intend on actually finishing it, but like
that's good journalism right there.
Yeah,
Beck is going towards the end of something, even if you don't like it, so you can report on it.
Well,
like it's gonna change in the last like 40 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's like the Wheel of Time books. Now. It's like the Wheel of Time books, but like even though those are good the whole time, they nail the ending. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I also just don't want to leave a Castlevania game like unfinished. And like I played the 360 one like a decade ago. I enjoyed it for what it was. This is dog shit. This is just not a fun game. And
I think the only
God.
What?
Sorry, you can tell that. Let me just say this thing. There was this one comment, dude, where the guy was just like, I don't understand why people just have to in a series have to compare things. And I'm just like, what do you mean? This, because like people are being like, this game sucks, and it's just like, well, if you're comparing it to the other Castlevania games, it sucks. And it's like, yeah, I'm comparing it to the other Castlevania games. Why the fuck wouldn't I? It's not a game that is on its own wavelength. Like, what are we talking? Ridiculous, the things people fucking say sometimes. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Shoot.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, what were you going to say, the only Castlevania game?
I've only ever played the one on N64.
Oh, fuck.
Like,
oh, jeez.
That Castlevania?
Oh,
like,
God.
Oh my God. I forget, like, the opening scenes, like, the first few scenes of the game are what's burned in my head. Oh, my God. And
Becky.
I can't get past that. Castlevania 2? Was it? What was it?
Oh, I doubt it, because I think the 4th one's on the Super Nintendo. I'm just going to look up Castlevania. Oh, it's just called Castlevania 64. It's a 1999 action adventure. I don't know if I know too much about this one. Oh, yeah, by looking at this one, it's a little different than your average Castlevania game, but still.
Yeah, it's the only one I've ever played.
Oh, fuck, dude.
And I don't think I've ever beat it, because I was just too young to actually be any good.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But, yep.
If I could recommend one, it's Dawn of Sorrows for the DS. It's really fucking good. I played it last year. The exciting news is the Switch just came out with that DS Castlevania collection.
Oh, on Nintendo Online?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's nice. Not online. I gotta buy it. It's like a collection on the Switch store. It's only $25 though for 3 DS games. And one of them is the one I played last year, which is really good. I've never played the other 2, and they review pretty well. So I'm gonna play those 2 for the next couple of weeks to kind of clean my palate of just this.
Well, it's October again, right? You got to go back into spooky games.
That's what I'm doing. It is the spooky season. We got a lot of plans for this podcast throughout the spooky season. And for me, I play these Castlevania games and hopefully have more good things to say. For people who do like this game, I mean, that's awesome. And for the people that were like, this is one of the best games I've ever played, you need to play some other games because there are way, like, it's like, I don't even know what your brain has to be like. The only thing I could postulate was that somebody was like 8 when they had a 3DS and played this game and they were like, this is awesome, when really it's not awesome. It's fucking terrible. Yeah,
if it's a game of nostalgia, give it a pass.
I could see a kid liking it. It's not super hard. It's, you know, it's, there's women making out at one point. Like, I could see that. But
perfect.
Yeah, it's dog shit game. So that's usually we have a segment that we call shit talk on this podcast. It's usually a movie, but if I were to say anything was shit talk, it was that fucking game. Just
I'm so sorry.
Bad. Just
I give you credit for finishing it, but you really shouldn't.
And here's what sucks. I played it yesterday. Like, I took time away from Zelda to play this game I didn't like.
Why would you do that? Oh my god.
I wanted to give a fair opinion, and I didn't beat it, but I got close enough that I'm like, I think I get it.
Yeah, you can pretty much sum it up, right? It's over. Cut your losses.
Yeah, and I just got more mad at it yesterday because, like, I was playing a way better game. So all the things that, like, I just sort of hated about it, I really was just like, these fucking dog shit controls. I hate this game. So, yeah. That's what I got.
Well, yeah, one more thing before we move on.
Absolutely. The cream of the crop.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know this isn't a current game, but future game. It's okay. You're mentioning the 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the new Mario and Luigi Super Saga is coming out. Brothership. So excited for this. I have high expectations. I hope they're not too high because I've already pre-ordered it with my Nintendo voucher. So,
oh, wow.
I know.
I've never used a voucher.
Really?
I see them all the time, but I never buy it because it's like you got to do like 2 games at once or something.
Well, no, you can use them whenever you want, but yeah, basically you get 2 vouchers for $99, so you save $20.
Right.
Games, right? Zelda and Brothership.
That's a great.
The 2 I bought.
I don't blame you,
combination.
Dude. I don't blame you one fucking bit.
So save some money.
That Nintendo event that took place on my birthday this year was just, it really set up my whole year for like, oh, I'm gonna play a lot more on my Switch before this year's done. I mean, this Zelda game. So those ads, the first thing they showed was Brothership, right? And this is I had just come off putting like 100+ hours into 1,000 Year Door, like doing everything on that game. So I'm riding a Mario RPG high.
Yeah.
And then they drop that fucking trailer, and I'm just like, dude, all right, great start.
Yeah, I will venture to say, and I do not say this lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm almost disappointed at myself for saying this.
Oh wow.
I think I like the Mario and Luigi saga in general more than I like Paper Mario.
Okay, that's fair.
I think they're better games. I think the fighting mechanics are more interesting. I think there's more diversity. I think the world exploration is deeper in Mario and Luigi. I really do feel that. And I'm not a handheld, like I was never big on the 3DS, but those games were something special. And yeah, and Paper Mario has just let me down so much in the previous years. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing with the series. There's 2 Paper Mario games that are actual Paper Mario games, and then all the rest are these different games. So the Mario and Luigi series has it there because every game they were like, yeah, just do the same mechanics. Why would we change the mechanics of the game?
Right.
The selling point. Let's make them better because it goes from the Game Boy one to the DS one, and they add the X and Y buttons, and it's better for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the 3DS, you had the dual screen, and things got crazy. And what was the Dream one? I forget what it's called. Dream something. Did you play it?
No, I've only played the first one and the second one on the DS. The Partners in Time and whatever the first one on the Game Boy Advance is. I played those 2.
Super Saga, is that what's called?
Superstar Saga, yeah. Superstar Saga and Partners in Time. Those are the only two, but I mean, I love those games. They're good games.
I'm pumped. I'm just really pumped.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were dead for the longest time. Because I think
everybody
the publisher,
did.
Yeah,
the people that made it didn't work anymore or something like that.
Right. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad they're coming back.
Well, that's the thing about that Nintendo event, dude. It was like Nintendo usually 9 times out of 10 times a year they put out a one of these things and it's dog shit. And then they raise the fucking roof. And it was like, oh, you never thought we were going to make these games again? Here's one coming out in a couple months. And then it was also like, a little later in the show, oh, by the way, there's a new Zelda game coming out in a couple months that you didn't know dick about.
Right?
Like, oh my God.
Right?
Nintendo.
It's so exciting.
Putting the Switch to bed with some fucking bangers.
Oh my God. But then, again, going back to the comments section, on anything Nintendo posts, the first comment is always, don't care, Switch 2, ? Like, fuck off. Like, it's coming, like, whatever. You know,
it's
just
coming. I'm just glad I don't got to spend any money until it comes out. You know what I mean?
Until it comes out. They're going to drop a Nintendo Direct tomorrow and be like, next month.
I'll get it as soon as I can. You know I will.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're putting this puppy to bed. Just fuck those people in the comments. Like, if anybody had a problem with that event, because, like, all these games, you're going to be able to play them on the Switch 2, whatever it is. I've been calling it the Switcheroo, but I know they won't call it that, but I think they should.
Love it.
Thank you.
I love it. I think it has some potential.
Nintendo's been known to do this. DS, 3DS, Wii U, Switcheroo. But they're cowards. Braden said they were cowards when I asked him. I was like, do you think they'd call it a Super Switch, like a Super Nintendo, or a Switcheroo? And he was like, you know, they should do Switcheroo, but they're cowards, so probably Super Switch. I'm like, Switcheroo just sounds cool. But all these games are going to run amazingly on that too, so like, who cares? Play what you can when you can. My God, that Zelda game, like, there's a lot of great games that came out this year, and there's a lot of great games that I've been dying to play this year. The Zelda one was like top on my list most of the year because I was just so interested. I had just had the thought, like, and talked to one of my friends about it, of like, they should make a Legend of Zelda game where you play as Zelda and she wraps like all the stories like thus far into one sort of type of thing, and like that's why it's called The Legend of Zelda, because at the end of all this shit, Zelda was doing it. And I had that thought, and then I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, well, this game isn't that, but we're at least playing as Zelda, and that's fucking cool.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You want to just start?
Yeah, we might as well. Yeah,
I've been tiptoeing around the edge, like just teasing it. Let's just go on in.
Yeah, dive in.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, Echoes of Wisdom. Where can I start? First of all, of course, long awaited. Finally, can play as Zelda.
Yep.
It's not The Legend of Link, right? It's fucking Zelda. We're here for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, I have always been one of those people who like the 3D immersion games, not so much the top-down style. Because I know. That's where I kind of really started my gaming. It was Ocarina of Time. Was the 3D world, you know, Mario 64 3D world. So when they come out with like the handheld versions of, you know, the Legend of Zelda games on like the DS, 3DS, stuff like that, I didn't play them. I was like,
oh, dude,
those are stupid games, right? I know, I missed out.
On amazing games.
I'm sure of it. I played Link's Awakening, right? I have the Link's, or not Link's Awakening, A Link Between Worlds, right?
That's the one on the 3DS? Yeah. That's a good one.
I have the 3DS with like the Triforce on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
special
sick.
edition.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, when I saw this new Zelda game, like top-down style, but like similar in capacity as like an open world concept, super thrilled about it. And I think they did it very well. Where are you at in the game so far?
Just today, I'm like about to start the dungeon at the Goron's place. I finished the Deku one today. So, like, there's only one other one after the Goron one that I have to do. So I'm pretty decently far, I guess.
Okay, yeah, you're further than I am. I didn't do the Deku place yet, but I'm at the Goron, so I went opposite direction you did.
Yeah.
I went to the Goron
Which
mountain
that in itself is, let me just say, as somebody who has played the top-down ones a lot, you didn't play Link's Awakening for the remake for the Switch?
I did not.
This game kind of, based their look on?
No, I didn't.
You should play that. That's what, like, when I first saw the trailer, I was just like, oh my god, they're making a sequel to the Link's Awakening remake. This is fucking awesome. And then, it became this, but I was still like, I'm down. It's a great remake of a classic Game Boy Zelda game, and they did a wonderful job remaking that. And I hope they remake all the Game Boy games like that. But one thing I really liked with this one, it was just like the perfect blend of that OG Zelda style mixed with the new G Zelda style of like open world mechanics. And they even gave us like control. Like we basically have the hand thing from Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, right. The bind.
Yes. In this game though, like that's so sick. The way this game brings that same creativity into the top-down world. Like, it's not as much as the Tears of the Kingdom, but it's as best as it's gonna be in this way. I fucking am having so much fun playing this game.
Right?
Because Nintendo, this is what I wanted to say way back at the start when you brought this up. Nintendo may not bring the biggest AAA crazy titles, but they make games that are fun to play. And that's why they still exist.
Quality content. A lot of I think of Nintendo as like a place where instead of like we have to hit deadlines, they actually put people in a room and have creative brainstorms on what should we do? Where can we go with this next?
Yeah.
Because they're not of course they're out there to make money, but I feel like they truly do care, especially with their main headliners, they're the characters that actually are Nintendo, Zelda, Mario, whatever, what have you.
Yeah.
They care. They're not going to make a shit game.
Nintendo's
they
have, but Nintendo's in the game making business. They're in it for making good games.
Yes.
Now they do drop the ball. I will say that the Game Freak section of that part of Nintendo must have really didn't do that thing you just said they do for just one of their games. But I will say this, though Violet and Scarlet have a lot of issues, I still had a fun time playing it. Like, if they just made it visually better and just, like, worked better, no problems. I had a fun time.
It was a fun game. It is a fun game. I haven't beat it yet, but
Arceus is better.
Yes.
So you're like, what happened there? But I could talk about that all day. But I still had fun. I still had fun because Nintendo at least is like, you're gonna have a good time.
Right. Yeah. So, first of all, we were talking about Zelda earlier this week, or when we first got it.
Yeah.
You were saying
you were playing.
talking about the trampoline, right?
Love the trampoline. Yeah.
However, once you got the water block, be honest. Be honest.
I will be honest. Yeah, the water block is awesome. I don't know what I got to do to get it to go from when you sort through your shit because like it goes like my top items, like the most used, it goes bed and then trampoline and then I don't know where it goes, but water's pretty far back. I'm like, I feel like water should be right after bed at this point. Like I use as soon as I got it, dude. Oh man, I use it so much. Yeah,
all the time.
Especially now that I can do like 5. I'm just like, oh fuck this.
See, I don't have 5 yet. I have 4. I still have 4. So I'm waiting.
You'll get a 5th once you beat the deck or one of these other ones. You'll get it.
Which is really annoying because I just got a Echo that takes 5 tries.
Yes, I did that as well. I got like 3 of those, and I was like, well, when do I get to use this thing? You'll get to.
Well, here's the thing. I thought they were going to like stop at 4 because like
me too.
This is the way I thought it was going to go because you unlock that one after the first time he levels up. You're like, okay, cool. I'm just going to keep getting more and more. And then the next 2 level ups, they just some of the Echoes don't cost as much, which is great.
It's nice. But it's like, I'd really like 5. So as soon as I saw that 5 was coming, I was like, all right, when am I going to get 5? Because like nothing better than like 5 beds or even just like 5 little fucking sword guys running or like it seems like madness. The Switch even has trouble like like it's like, oh, we might be pushing the limits of this thing with 5 of your guys and whoever you're fighting. Holy fuck!
Right?
Yeah, it's dude, so cool. Do you want to to anybody who doesn't know, I suppose, do you want to explain like what is Echoes of Wisdom and like some of the game mechanics?
Absolutely.
Like we're talking about them, but we can put them in a little perspective.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, I would at least hope that you know of The Legend of Zelda and
we don't gotta go.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Let's start back at the beginning.
1987. Actually, let's go back even farther. 1950 something. Nintendo was a company that made playing cards.
Is that true, or you just made that up?
I don't know the date, but yeah, they started as like a card company. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
I did
Fast
like an 8th grade
to 2024.
Thing. Yeah.
Echoes of Wisdom is born. So of course you play as Zelda, which honestly the first 5 minutes of the game you do play as Link.
You do. I enjoyed that. I appreciated
I was like,
that.
oh, this is kind of cool. You know, you're just running through and shooting stuff.
You get to fight Ganon.
Got to fight Ganon
at the very beginning of the game.
Right. It was kind of wild. And then anyway, of course, you know it's coming. He shoots Zelda out of her, spell shell, and she breaks free.
Shell.
It's a technical term for it. Her spell shell, and grabs, of course, his cloak to disguise herself, and runs away from this horrible, horrible rift that is shit. What's the rift called, dude? Is it, or are they just called the rifts?
I think they're just rifts. Yeah, I think they're just
they just rifts? Okay. I was like, shit, what are the rifts called? The rifts.
So, I think they're just rifts. If we're wrong.
I think you're right. So it's like to another dimension where things eventually dissolve and disappear forever.
Mm-hmm.
So Hyrule's being basically destroyed from inside out, and the king, of course, her dad, eventually gets absorbed by one of these rifts. Which, okay, let me back up.
Yeah.
Because people weren't that concerned. They were upset that rifts were forming, but they're all just like, I mean, this is
odd. Wait till you get to the Deku spot. They're all just like, dude, this is awesome. It's super weird. They call you a what do they call you? Not a boogin, but a bumpkin. They call you a bump. They call Zelda a bumpkin. Like a bunch of them. Like, because they live in the woods, so they treat you like a bumpkin.
That's awesome.
It's really
like
funny.
That.
Sorry, I'm burping up a storm.
No, you're good.
But
anyway.
People, isn't that like Zelda games though? Like the world goes wrong and people are just like, whatever. I mean, this is weird, but we'll adjust, I suppose. Tears of the Kingdom's like that. The whole world fucking blew apart and people were just like, hey, do you want to buy some masks? I just sell masks out here.
Right? Like, hey, you want a smoothie? Smoothie dog? Like, hey, I need some ingredients. You want some?
Yeah.
Like, sure, man. Here you go. Let's mix these guys up. But, oh my God. No, they're just super chill about it until, of course, they actually get taken by the rift.
Mm-hmm.
And
Changes
Zelda, it changed. I mean, oof. That's rough. That's rough, buddy. But, she takes it. She goes, she gets locked up. Tri shows up. Of course, you have to have the token sidekick of any Zelda game, right? So this game, it's Tri, who is adorable, by the way.
Tri's great.
Tri.
Not annoying. It allows me to do great shit.
Very helpful. Very helpful fella. So anyway, you get this Tri-Rod, and you get to create echoes of literally
so much shit.
Almost so much shit.
Almost everything.
Almost everything, right? Like there
Yeah.
are some like things that you can't, but every creature that I fought, other than bosses.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, everything you can
fantastic.
fight, and then some.
Yeah.
There are multiple times that I'm just like, oh, this is something I can get. Okay, I sure. If you want me to have it, game, I will.
I will, and I will abuse.
I'm not gonna miss one.
Right? No, you can't miss an echo. Like I'm still afraid that I've missed one along the way. But
oh, I know.
Like, oh, dude, it's wild. I actually went through the entire Gerudo Desert little arc without, like, I don't know why I didn't go into that tent at the very beginning. Like I got distracted, like the one with like the level 2 bed in it. And it didn't have the level 2 bed. And I was like, what? I just missed out on this for the whole arc. And luckily, I went back to it. I was like, I never did go in that tent. And, like, they had some mini game there, whatever, with the mangoes.
Oh, yeah.
gotta get the fan, whatever.
Did
I
that,
don't know what those are for yet. I don't know if you figured that out, like the little like items, the shiny items that you can win.
Yeah, I don't need. I didn't win the fan. I just gave up on the fan. I was just like, I want to do other shit.
You loser.
I will go back. There's one for the sword on the way to the Goron.
Yeah, and the dojo, which
I'll
is
probably
cool.
fuck around with that. That is pretty cool. I looked into the sword a little bit because I was like, can you swing it?
Can she actually use it?
Because, like, honestly, that's my only gripe with the game. And the more I get into it, it's less of a gripe because it's really not a big deal. But early on, it's just like, I wish even that spin would, like, hit an enemy. Something. Because you're a little just like, especially when you only have 3 of the things, it's just like, okay, kill that thing for me now.
But at the same time,
you can spam the sword mode.
You can, but I don't like to use the sword mode. The only
Me neither.
time
I turn it off as soon as I have to.
Oh my god, like just for a second at a time. Mm-hmm. But like the only time I have to use it is in boss fights because I still haven't gotten good at figuring out which echo is going to be the best to fight a boss. Every time it just completely destroys.
You have to figure it out in the match. I mean, everything you do, you kind of have to figure it out in the moment, but there's so many different options available. In a lot of old Zelda over-the-top games, like, you had to solve the puzzle exactly the way it was meant to be solved. Right. But then it's like, it could be more fun if you can solve it a plethora of ways.
Right.
Yeah. That's what this game does amazingly.
Yeah, they've really grabbed onto that the last couple games, like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, whatever. Like, just, you know what, you do you. Mm-hmm. Which, I will say I lose a little bit of satisfaction when that part of the game is gone. Like, I would love to go to an area and, like, not have an echo that solves my problem. Or, like, I need a specific echo to do something. I would love to come across that where I'm like, well, I can't solve this yet until I find the hook shot. You know what I mean? Like, I do miss a little bit of that, like...
the Castlevania or Metroidvania style of game.
Right. Yeah. Like, I want... There's something satisfying about these boundaries that you have to break down to expand the world. When the whole world is at your fingertips anyway, it's like, I can go wherever I want. It doesn't really matter.
Well, I guess that's a good thing because it just shows that, like, no matter what type of game a Zelda game wants to be, they do it well. They do it really well. Because, like, you sacrifice that specificness to give this game the fun way to play, but also, like, it's open world is like, none of the overtop ones are very, like, there's a couple maybe where you could go to, like, 2 or 3 of the dungeons as you want to, but, like, it was, like, you have the option to go basically and do anything at any time, just like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
In, like, a pocket version of a Game Boy. It's a Game Boy version of a Zelda game.
Yeah, I get that vibe. It feels that way, right? But it's so much more. And, like, I don't know about you, I didn't explore. I didn't really...
I've been exploring.
I am now a little bit more.
Yeah.
But when you first started, I went straight to Gerudo Desert, and I went straight to... After that, I went straight to the Zora Village. Like, I didn't try to go up north. I didn't try to do it. Did you do that at all?
Well, I didn't try to go, like, super far. I covered... Basically, though, the whole bottom half of the map that I didn't try to go to the other places because I was like, let's get this section, all of this section, and then do the thing it wants me to do here.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe you couldn't have gotten much farther, but like,
I don't know. That's why I was wondering if they would have like stopped you, or if you could have just like, hey, just head up to. Yeah. I'm sure there wasn't like the people like you couldn't get into the rifts. I'm sure.
I bet they blocked off the rifts to some extent, but. I still do feel like you could have got a lot of the land in the upper area, just knowing what it's like there. Because, like, I basically have the whole map covered. Because today I went and did the horse side mission to get the horse. And then I just fucking rode around, like, just to cover the map. I found heart pieces. I found, like, there's a lot. There's another good thing. And we're all over the place with this one, but it's fine. Another good thing about this game is it has that same sense of, like, within Tears of the Kingdom, so much, like, if you try to just explore a little, you can find so much other shit to do. Like, they've snuck all these extra... Tears of the Kingdom, it's off the fucking rails. But for what this game is, it has a lot of that. It has a lot of that as well. Like, there's lots of Ks, lots of little things that you're like, did I even have to do this? Probably not, but I'm glad it's here. There's a good amount of that. And I like that. And there's side quests.
Yes. And the good thing about these, like, side things, like, in other games, or like, it's like, oh, look, a cave, I bet there's rupees or heart pieces in there. But no, now you get like sick echoes, or other like accessories, which I'll get on my soapbox in a minute about this accessories. But
you'll get on one of your accessories for this accessory.
But and so I thought the accessories were gonna be kind of dumb, but there's some good ones.
There are some good ones. Yeah. Well, before we get into the accessories, to one of the things you were saying, what I do like is a lot of times they put you in a room where there's like a puzzle to get a chest open, or there's an item at the end of the road, and the item at the end of it is very like basic. It's very nothing, but like you might have got a really cool badass echo in, like you're rewarded. Like the reward isn't that great, but you got so much out of doing it, and I love that. I love that so much, because I couldn't give a fuck about another goddamn golden egg, but like, did I just get a cool 4-star monster out of coming in here? Yes, I did.
Hell yeah.
Or like a different item that I can use.
Yeah, something unique, and you're like, this is worth it. This is all worth it.
They always, because like if I would have done something crazy and all I got was like another golden egg, I'd be like, why did I come in here? And there's like some like that sometimes, but it's very rare. You're almost always rewarded for seeing what's up.
Yeah, your discoveries, absolutely.
Yeah, whether you're doing just things you stumble on or the side quests, which I love the implementation of side quests in these over-the-top Zelda games.
Right?
Oh, they did it so well. So well. Did you get the cat costume?
I did.
I still have mine on. I keep it on. I was like, I'm not taking this off.
Ridiculous.
It's all right. It's all right. It's ever since I got it, I left it on. I'm running through the fucking Mount Doom, or Mount Doom.
Mount Doom.
I'm taking the ring to Mordor in my cat costume.
In your cat suit.
And
meow.
But I'm excited to see some of the other outfits. I kind of like the outfits, but let's get into the accessories. This is your vent session for the accessories.
This is my vent session.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love female heroes in games. Like, hell yeah, strong female characters. I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's fiction. You can do whatever you want.
Shut your face hole, Chase.
I'm just kidding.
Shut your face hole.
I'm just joking. Come on.
Yeah. See, women are great in fiction. But no, it's I was all for it. She was pretty badass. She was learning some cool magics and stuff. And then I forget what the first accessory was that I found.
Oh yeah, it's not something it's like it's
barrette.
Girly. Yeah, it's
definitely and it's like, here's an accessory. And I was like, a fucking accessory. I get a hair barrette? Like, what the fuck? I was so mad. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just this one, right? And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Then I go to the desert. And the next fucking accessory is a pair of like cutesy little shoes. Cutesy little shoes to walk on sand. And I was like,
I don't think I have that. I don't think I have that accessory.
I think you buy them at the store. I think they're on sale.
I have to double check. Of course they are. That's the only reason you'd buy them, because they're on sale at the shoe store.
Honey. And I was getting so pissed off, because I was like, they can't call it like gear. They can't give it like, I don't know, give her like some badass like boots, or, and I get they're trying to say like girly girls can be heroes too, maybe, but it irked me a little bit, because they really leaned into like, oh, she's a princess and she's delicate and she can't fight, and I'm like,
do you think you dove into that a little too much though?
I don't know. I did. I know I did. And now I get it. Like, the accessories are pretty cool. There's a lot of different things she can have. I think it's a little, I don't want to call it lazy, because I don't think the game is lazy. There's so much to it. But it's not like you can wear like an accessory on your head, an accessory on your wrist, and a pair of shoes.
You don't like
two
see
accessories
it.
Max.
Oh,
or like,
yeah.
You can unlock those, with throughout the game, but and you don't see it. It doesn't show up on your character.
No.
Right? Like, it's just
only the outfits. Only the cat costume.
The outfits, though, I was really super
I appreciate that.
Yeah. When I got the first princess outfit after, the first arc is kind of finished, I was like, okay, we're going to get some cool outfits in here.
We can look like Zelda finally.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I would love a cool, like, chic outfit, though. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into, like, I've just been playing it, you know what I mean? I'm not looking to see, like, what's in this game. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out.
I don't know if it's in there or not.
I bet there's got to be. It's a game where Zelda's the main character. She's got to try on some new clothes.
Let's go to the mall.
Oh, the Kakariko Mall. That's where it's happening. Got these shoes half off.
Oh my god!
But there are good accessories. There's the one that lets you jump like really high. That came in handy.
The frog
I keep that on. Less trampolines with that.
Hell yeah! Those fucking trampolines are garbage.
I still pull them out from time to time, but not that often.
Just to show them some love. Like, you're not forgotten. Don't worry.
Yeah, you were a big help at the start of this, trampolines.
Dude, but can we talk about probably the one thing in this game that they nailed? Like, the one thing in this game that I'm just like, fucking finally, Zelda, fucking finally. You know what that is?
I'm waiting.
The fairies just fly into the bottle. You don't have to fucking get your bottle out. Your heart's already pounding like there's a fucking fairy. Don't hit it. Don't run into it. It's going to try to heal you. You don't want that. You want it in the bottle,
want it in the bottle, yeah.
You want it in the bottle, so you're like, all right, I got to be real careful. And then now it's just like, oh, you got a bottle? I'll just fly right into it. Like, fucking thank you, Nintendo. We've been asking for
You're right.
Now.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
You're not as thrilled as I am, and it's a little disappointing.
No, I am. I just hadn't really.
I don't think you are.
No, let me hold on. You're hitting me with something that, like, when it happened, I was like, oh, thank fucking Christ. But, like, knowing how much you feel about it, I'm just like, no, you're right. That was fucking bullshit all those years of, like, it's a fantastic addition that it took until this game.
Yeah, how many times did you break open some pots? All right, and then a fairy flies out, and you're like, "Oh shit!" And you're like, "Where's my jar? I don't have a jar." And then you're like, "What? You got to empty one of your jars because you got to have a fairy.
You need a loose.
Now you got to chug your moo milk real fast so you can pick up that fairy. And now your fairy's covered in milk, and it can't fly anymore. It's just it's a nightmare."
Specific fairy jars. I'm trying to remember. Can you put fairies in jars in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? I just can't see myself scooping fairies in that game. Can't remember how they do that.
You just pick them up.
I will say this, however. There's one thing they could add to that change that would make it even better for me specifically, is I wish when I died, it would give me like a little message just like, hey, do you want to use your fairy here or nah? Because like sometimes you die and you're just like, well, there goes my fairy. And I could have like lived here.
That's an interesting perspective because I don't have that because I never died.
Oh, really?
No. I never died. So
why do you give a fuck about these fairies then?
Because I like to have a fairy. It's like your security blanket.
Yeah. You die. That's why you know what the fairies do. You haven't died in this game yet?
No. Okay. Well, I probably let me correct that.
You bitch.
I probably died. I definitely my hit points went to 0. But when you have a fairy, you're right. You just heal.
Right. It just comes back. Yeah. But I'd rather take the game over some places than
Would you? Why though?
Some places, because some places I didn't expect just a little thing to take so much damage. I will say this: the damage is very. They're like, she's a girl, she's gonna take more damage, and she does. So I'm always surprised at the amount. So I'm collecting fucking pieces of heart. Luckily I just started the second row today, and I was like, thank God, give me a little buffer room.
Got my first heart on the second row, and I was like,
it's fucking nice feeling. But still, you still go down, and thank God for the beds. Anybody who doesn't know, in the game you can do the echoes, but you can summon a bed and you can rest in the bed. The beds continuously get better until you get a 3-star bed that just it heals your heart so fucking fast.
It's great. It's great.
It's so great. It's so convenient. Sometimes I'm in a boss fight and I'm just like, all right, you two little piglets, go distract that thing. I'm going to take a nap real quick and heal. You know, the fact that that's an option, I really love that.
I haven't actually had a chance I get too anxious about boss fights that I can't even sleep. I can't do that in game.
Can't even lay down.
Yeah.
I don't do it a lot. I wouldn't say that's something I do too often, but like I have certainly knowing
when you need to.
Knowing the options there. But like the time that I've done it is mostly when I forgot that it's like Breath of the Wild, like Tears of the Kingdom, where I can go into my start, eat some grapes or something to like just heal little bits. Because even that's not really a common thing you could do in like over the top Zelda games. So I love the implementation of all the things they added in those new Zelda games and being like, oh no, we can still do dungeons and shit. Don't worry. And you can have all these features too.
I am so excited about some classic dungeons coming back. Like
it's a good feeling, dude.
It is a good feeling. I have yet to be stumped, like annoyed with a dungeon so far, like
yes. Yeah.
I'm waiting for that, like, oh my god, I can't figure this out, or
there's like things that take me like maybe a minute or two sometime, and it's like, what do I gotta do here? What's this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, and that's the same with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and this.
Yep.
Another thing you lose by letting people do almost anything is just like that dungeony solve the puzzle to get through it.
Right.
Like you're
because
stumped.
sometimes when there is one solution, it takes you longer to get there. But when you have so many tools in your toolbox, you can solve it however you want. It doesn't take you as long. It's not as...
It's fun to play, but is it as quality?
Right. Well, I don't know if quality is the way to put it. But it's not as... I don't know, not as, like, clicky. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't get that aha moment.
You feel creative, you don't feel intelligent.
Correct. That's a really good way to put it. It's fostering creativity and not necessarily... your puzzle solving abilities. Yeah,
I'd agree. That's why I still think that you would like playing the Link's Awakening remake for the Switch, because it's that.
The classic. Yeah.
You get a lot of that with that nice look, but.
So, can we talk about Stamp Guy?
We can talk about Stamp Guy. I wanted to talk about Stamp Guy. I love Stamp Guy.
He's amazing.
Dude, Zelda games are so goddamn goofy. And every time they add one of these fucking people, I'm just like... Yeah.
Oh my god.
I love Nintendo. Nintendo's like, yo, the world's autistic, and so are we, and so are you. And here's a character that is absolutely autistic.
His energy is so good. Like, first, you find the stamp. Like, the Stamp Guy basically is like little...
What's that about? That's how I feel about him. I was like, oh... Right. Like, cool.
Little, I don't want to call him like a Korok, but like throughout the map, you have little stamp stations. You're like, what is this?
He reminds me of the guy in Tears of the Kingdom that was always just like, I keep this fucking sign up. Could you help me?
Fucking yes.
Yes, he's like him, but in this.
Yes, and you're just like, okay, what's the stamp location? And this guy.
You're in the swamp, and you're like, hey, there's a stamp. Go ahead. Sorry.
Flies down from this like freaking parachute on, and he's probably the most bland character you've ever like big eyes, big smile.
He almost doesn't fit.
He doesn't fit. He doesn't fit at all, and you're just like, who is this clown? And he floats down, and he's like, hey, you're gonna collect all my stamps, and like he stamps your card. That first of all, the card he hands you is something he made at home with a box of crayons. And he just has little stamp markers on it. And when
5 at a time.
God, when he stamps it, I had to like get up off of my couch and go up to my TV screen and look. And I was like, is this stamp on this poorly drawn postcard? This stamp is an intricate drawing of him as a completely buff, like think Katamari Damacy, the god from that, just on a stamp on this card, like from this clown, and I'm just like, what are you doing, Nintendo? This is amazing.
Yeah. Like, they really dive into their Japanese roots of just comedy.
My God. Yes, it was so good. I love him so much. I'm on my third card, I think.
I think I am as well. Yeah, he's great. He's fantastic. And he's one of those characters at first you're just like, what's that guy about? And then you're like, is that a stamp over there? I gotta solve how to get to that fucking, like, you'll go out of your way.
You will.
to get a stamp.
Like,
I'm
I'll
looking
be up
forward to
on
the
top
gifts
of
I
a
get.
mountain. Yeah, a mountain. And I'm like, it took me days to get up here, and there's a stamp on the ground. Like, fuck it. Like, all
Yeah.
this is going out the window. I'm flying. Like, we need
Yeah,
that stamp.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I went back. There was a stamp in the Gerudo Desert that I didn't figure out how to get when I was there, and like I had went and done so many other things, and I was just like, I had the water block, so I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go get that stamp right now. It just felt good to like take time out of my playthrough to like go grab a stamp real quick.
Like, yes.
Like I know where there's a stamp that I didn't get, so I'm going. It's like going to
Okay, stamp
the
guy.
state parks and getting their fucking. Is it stamps? I don't know. It's something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's like
Yeah.
that, but in a game. It's love Stamp Guy. What a great man! When they just put one of these new, and his name is just Stamp Guy.
Stamp guy.
Like,
They
Nope.
gave the intern one job. Like, you can have one job in this whole game, and that's what he came up with. It's
and
like,
they were like, actually, you know what? We like that.
we like that.
That's
We'll
weird
go
enough. I'd love to know what that is in Japanese because I would call him. It's something senpai or something like
Oh,
San.
absolutely. No
whatever
doubt.
whatever stamp is. I might have to look into that at some point. But yeah, he's fantastic. And that's once again, the game just here's all these little things to do while you're also doing the game. And the beauty of it is too, it's like it's a compacted version of Tears of the Kingdom in a way of like we could probably finish the whole thing in 20 or so hours. Where I think I beat the Zelda like story, like roll credits. I was a little over 100 hours in Tears of the Kingdom. And that was doing like a bunch of the side stuff as well. But yeah. I feel like in this game, you could do a bunch of the side stuff and still wrap this whole thing up in like 30 hours, which I appreciate. I appreciate that.
It's a much smaller commitment.
I play a lot of really long fucking video games these days, and it's just nice to have one that doesn't need to be.
Yeah, right? Like small little bite-sized pieces. I also enjoy those because I can finish them. And I can finish many of them. But these long ones, I'll be honest, I've not finished Tears of the Kingdom yet. I've not finished.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you're playing it.
But I told you what happened to me, though, with Tears of the Kingdom.
I can't remember.
Why I stopped, I stopped playing the story. Because I explored too much. I cared too much.
Yeah.
I explored too much. I muscled my way through that island in the sky that was, like, covered in a storm.
Okay.
I somehow muscled my way onto that island, got the eyeglass or whatever that you use to find the robot that's in the underground or whatever her name is.
Right.
So like, I did all of this before I had really anything. Anyway, long story short, then I ended up going and I fought Ganon, or I got to the end Ganon fight underneath Hyrule Castle. I didn't even have the fucking Master Sword yet.
Ooh.
I didn't even, like, I was so, like...
Didn't you not have the robot, too? Like, you didn't have the robot? Oh, you had the robot. I had
the robot, but when I went to talk to the person who was like, you need to go into the underworld to get the robot, and the robot is literally standing in the cutscene behind this guy, and he's like, oh, looks like you got it. Like, I skipped so much, and it just ruined it. And I went through that entire final cave to go fight. I didn't know it was the final cave. I was just like, ooh, a cave under the castle. Oh, so fun. And I just like was beating up these big, I was like, man, this is a really tough cave. There's lots of big like enemies in here. Wow, this is great. There's going to be something really good.
What a challenge this Zelda game.
What a challenge. And I get to the end of the cave and it's fucking Ganon. And I was like, there's these big, massive cutscenes. And I was like, motherfucker, I'm at the end of the game. And like, of course I wasn't going to win. I didn't have the Master Sword. And I had to like, I just shut my game off and I was like, well, that was like 2 hours of my time just trying to get through the... So anyway, I haven't finished it because...
Do you have the Master Sword yet?
I do.
I was going to say that Master Sword part was fun. I was up till 2 a.m. doing that shit like because I was just so into it. And I was like, this is the best way to get the Master Sword ever.
Hell yeah. That was a wild ride.
It was a good time.
But yeah. Still haven't beat it. I keep going back to it. And
you know what to do. You know what to do. You just got to pull the trigger on it. It's a fun final, but the final sword fight with Ganondorf's pretty sick. The final, like, you do a cool battle with Ganon at the end. Like it looks cool. It's an easy fight, but it's sick that you're doing it. It's super easy. So you're like, wow, I wish the final fight wasn't that easy at the end. But the first half was like hard enough that you're like, yeah, I can do this fun thing. I won't spoil it for you, but
it's not about the fight. It's about the exploration, right? Like it's about the journey.
Dude, I hear you.
About the journey.
I mean, I know life the shit out of Tears of the Kingdom, but I did the same thing with Breath of the Wild, where I just had been playing it for years before I was finally like, all right, let's finish this.
Right.
Yeah. Playing around is fun, and Echoes, back to the game we're talking about, it has that same, even though it's over the top and a little smaller scale, you have that sense of like, I want to look around. I want to go to all these places. I want to make trampolines and put trampolines on trampolines. And maybe trampolines on trampolines on trampolines. So maybe until you get that water thing. Is that your favorite of the Echoes? When you asked me that question,
it's the most diverse.
When you asked me that question the other night, I hadn't gotten the water thing yet, and I had a good amount of Echoes, but not like as many as I have now. So when you asked me, I was just like, I don't know. There's some cool ones, but there's a lot more now that I like. The trampoline's great, but like there's probably a few now that I'd be like, that one's clutch.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the utility ones, the trampolines, beds, whatever, like you can do a lot with them, but the enemies are where like everyone has their favorites, right? Like I'm sure everyone has their go-to fighting styles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it's unique, yeah.
God, right? We haven't even touched on that. The diversity of puzzle solving is one thing. The diversity of how you decide to take on combat,
right?
As a mage, as Zelda the mage.
Yeah, I mean, I have developed, like I have evolved my fighting style throughout the game. Right now, I'm currently in my crow era, where I just throw fucking crows at
birds. Yeah, I get that. Like 5 birds at once and just like peck at them, bitch. It's agreed. Like, I do that from time to time.
My brethren, get them. But that's where I'm at, and then I still always go back to my big whirly spiky plant man. Like he's great.
The thing that like flies in the air with the little spikes.
Yep.
I got one of those earlier today. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they can wreak some havoc. I like them.
Oh man, it's for a long time I would just have the wolf following me because he fucks shit up. He took up a lot. Wolf? Yeah, like the gray wolf with the yellow eyes type of thing. It's like 3 star points or whatever.
Motherfucker, I don't think I have that. When did you get him?
He's just like if you just go up in like the Hyrule Field area and just like just dick around in there, you'll find one. Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I have a wolf.
He's awesome. He like runs around and he just dive bombs things and he does damage. The farther I've gotten in the game, I've used him a little less, but he's still like, oh yeah, I could throw a wolf at this motherfucker. Yeah.
That's the best part, though. You just just throw fucking creatures at him, and there's no skin off your bones. Like if they die, here's another. Like,
for a game that you're constantly going into the UI to fucking pick a different thing, because you're going back and forth a lot. There's a lot of menu, I guess, but like it's not one of those games where going into the menu is taking away from the fun you're having. You're picking whatever you want to summon, you throw it at the guy, you see how it works. You roll dice, hopefully it does something. If not, boom, they're out, and they can die. You take no damage. You could watch all 4 of your crows just fucking die, and just summon 4 more. There's no mana system. There's just a metered system.
Exactly,
it's pretty nice.
There's no summoning time. Like it's not like you have to sit there and summon for a while. It's just immediate. No matter what you have, it's immediate. Boom, here it is.
Yeah,
I love it. It's very smooth, very satisfying.
Yeah,
it's not clunky. So.
A lot of options. Nothing better than when you get like a level 2 of something you already have and you're just like, oh, that thing's gonna put some hurt on some motherfuckers.
Oh, I know. It's great. Great. I wish I could get better at using the bind in I
sometimes I forget about it.
I do too, and then I'm like, oh my god, like if for instance my creatures are continually missing this enemy because the enemy keeps dodging, I just grab the enemy and put it in front of my
I haven't tried that. It's a good idea. That's a really good idea because I'll just like run up and try. Like if one gets far away from an enemy for one reason or another, I'll just run up to the enemy and summon a new one to just hit it again. But that's a fun. Maybe I should try that. Grab the enemy and bring it to them.
Exactly.
Genius.
Very satisfying.
Oh God, yes, it has all the things, man. It has all the things that I loved about Breath of the Wild when it first came out, just packaged into a different game. Like the fire, not whatever the little candle hopper thing.
Yeah.
Dude, you can light on fire. You can light everything around you on fire. Wait till you get to the Deku place. You're just lighting shit on fire.
You destroyed the entire village.
Everywhere.
No wonder they called you a pumpkin. You're out there running around.
Hold on. No, it's because there's spider webs everywhere and you gotta burn them. They're bad. You'll get there.
All right, okay.
But it is funny. They straight up call you a pumpkin and you're just like, that is hilarious.
Bitch, I am the ruler of this kingdom.
This fucking tree is calling me a pumpkin while he's eating a cotton candy spider web. Okay.
Exactly.
It's good shit. It's funny. It's, oh God, it's so many things. And what's crazy is like, at first, when I first started it, I was having fun. I wasn't getting a chance to like give it a real play. Like I'd get to play it in like very quick increments, and I was just like, I don't know if this is living up to the expectations I had on it. Damn it.
Oh no.
But then I reached, and then just like the book, 50 pages, and then I got to a certain point. With this, and I'm just like, hell yeah, this is so fun. Even the gripe I had of like, I wish Zelda had a melee weapon. I'm just like, maybe at first, but that could also be like, I like a game that's a little hard on me at first.
Right.
Makes me need to be better, so that when I am better, I came from small beginnings.
Exactly. You can look back. Wow, look how far I've come.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a complaint. I still wish the katana, if I spun, I could at least move things. I don't know, hurt them a little, but like it's fine.
I have
Give her a bow.
feeling.
When we got the bow, I was like, "Ooh, is that a bow we can just use whenever?" Like, I wish she just had some like shoot
She's
a fireball.
Girl, she can't use weapons.
She can't
We've
do
been through
things.
this. She can't do things.
You're right, man. Fucking. What's his name? What's the little ball that follows you around called? Try, yeah. Try's probably a guy, so she needs a man to kind of give her some assistance.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Couldn't have done it without him.
Although I will be honest, like when she revived her father and the King of Hyrule, I was really expecting him to give her a lecture on like, that was irresponsible.
Oh yeah.
Like, you should, no. And he was like, dude, I'm proud of you. Like,
not only am I proud of you, but you need to go out and do it everywhere else too. Yeah, I was like, man, what a cool dad the King of Hyrule is this game. He's all about it. He's like, it's the only way. I'm too old to do dick.
I'm too old to do dick.
You know what though? My another little gripe I have, when the trailers were coming out, when I was looking into this game waiting for it, they made it seem like it was a Link and Zelda that at least knew each other. I don't like that it's like she doesn't know Link at all. Right.
I was shocked by that.
Yeah.
Like just some guy in green. Like some sword fighter, and then you kind of hear whispers of like his home, like when you're down in the south of his village or whatever.
It's
like, what?
It's kind of fitting because a lot of those early Zelda games, even sometimes new ones, Link doesn't know Zelda when he goes to save her, so like it makes sense. But I just think I would have liked it more knowing that, like, I thought it was the Link's Awakening Link, like I thought it was the same Link.
Right.
But she doesn't know him, and I'm like, okay, like it's fine.
Yeah, it would have had a little bit more emotional tie, I think, had there been like that dramatic moment where he shoots her out of her spell shell and she's like, no, but instead it's just like, you're a strange man, but thanks, see you later, like stranger.
If I can help, if a man that can make me summon things can come and help me in my jail cell, I will get you, brother, I promise. Yeah, I don't know, and like, you can look at it both ways, like I just said, and maybe some people like that she doesn't know him, but I think me going into it expected like a world that knew Link as a hero and needed to be saved, as opposed to people that are like, who is this guy? Now, I'm sure we'll get to the end of the game, because they talk about how like they need both of you to do it, so we'll see how that plays out, but well,
of course, they're all a separate part of the Triforce, right? Like, courage and wisdom. They have to come together to defeat power.
To be whoever it is. And like, I like that Ganon's clearly not going to be the final bit. Like, it's a new... I love when they throw in a new bad guy. That's fun. Ganon's still involved, but, like, there's something else going on. We don't know what all that is yet, but I like that. Yeah, I think this is the beginning. I hope it's the beginning of... I don't want more over-the-top Zelda as the main character Zelda games. I mean, I would play them if they made more. I hope the next over-the-top one is a Link type of one. But that being said, I think they should make more Zelda games where Zelda's the main character, even in like the Tears of the Kingdom style.
That
Do both.
would be dope.
I would. I think that would be absolutely fine. Because I like playing as a different character and having to do things differently. And
hell,
Zelda and Link are very different.
They are.
Or both. Yeah, or both.
Play as both. Like one, you know what I mean? Like,
which you kind of get to do in this.
Well,
but
not really, kind of. But I mean, like separate altogether, separate storylines, separate, and then at the end they come together, right?
Sure.
There's a lot you can do.
That would be a very, but I would be absolutely fine with just an entire 3D Zelda game where we are playing as because Zelda's like a sorcerer. You can even make her chic, whatever. Make Zelda the main character, and you'll see people bitch. You will see people bitch, but I think people will just love the fuck. Like, I think there's a lot of potential there. Nintendo does a lot of like risky moves, but when their risky moves pay off, they're amazing. And I just think they've tested the water with this, and it's working. So you have to do more Zelda games. You need to still make Zelda games with Link, absolutely. But I think we can make more Zelda games with Zelda. And I would really like to play a Zelda game with Zelda in the 3D fashion.
That would be...
However
that'll
may be.
Out on the switcheroo, for sure.
On the switcheroo. And when I put my accessories on, girl, I hope I see them. I want to see them shiny shoes.
Yes. Like, fucking build your own character, but not really.
Yeah.
Like, within reason.
I want to walk into the Zora domain and one of them motherfuckers gives me a double take. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh.
What?
It says Zelda? Cat calls is what I'm saying. Is what I want in my 3D Zeldas. Oh.
God, turn on those fish people.
Dude, imagine you fucking put on that cat costume in the 3D Zelda game. You're looking...
rated.
It's looking like Halloween. It's looking like Halloween on Instagram. And you walk into the Goron tribe and they're like, oh, damn, who's this chick? Yeah, we'll help you. Do you want us to come with you?
Oh, my God. That's great.
I want it all. Yeah.
Sexy Zelda game coming on the switcheroo. Watch out.
It'll be the first T for teen rated Zelda game.
For teen Zelda game.
If they even still do that, I don't even know. Oh, God. Well, I feel like we've covered a lot of this game.
I think we have. I think I hit all of my notes. I really do.
I think I said everything I wanted to say about it, and maybe even then some. So that's good.
Yeah, I think so. But, I'm still not even, halfway done with the game yet. So
yeah,
maybe I'm half. I don't know.
It's hard. Like,
hard to tell.
It is hard to tell because I don't know what's going to come after what we're currently doing. So they could add more. There's probably at least one more thing after that. But like,
I think
decently sized game. Yeah, and we're about in the same spot. Like, I just finished the Deku one this morning and got started on the Goron one.
A smidge ahead of me, that's all. So
yeah,
but yeah,
to feel this way, it's the exact opposite of that Castlevania game. Like, that game, immediately I was like, this is fucking trash.
Just stop playing it.
Yeah,
stop wasting your time.
I won't, but I will take more of my time, especially now that we've already recorded this episode. I'm going to play through Zelda until that's done, and then maybe I'll get back to Castlevania, because I got to play this game. Because right now, I saw a lot of 9s out of 10s. This isn't one of those shows where we rate the game, but like, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's fun. It's fun. Tears of the Kingdom, 11 out of 10. This, 9 out of 10. Yeah.
9 out of 10. It's a good solid game. I'm having a good time.
Yeah. And honestly, dude, I'm glad. Oh, dude, when I saw your name pop up that day playing it as well, because at least on my friends list, I think we're the only two playing it. I was like, oh, that's great. I gotta, like, at least somebody knows that this game is fun. And then when I knew,
I took my day off of work just so I could play it.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I've done that.
Well, you can play your games at work now, so you don't have to.
But like if a game comes out on my PlayStation or my computer, I can't play that at work. So Switch games though for sure. But yeah, I was like, and then Miranda's like, you should get her on like the show then, or something like. We were talking about it. I was like, because I had to get somebody in for Braden, and I was just like, who can I get? And then it was while we were talking about it, and I was just like, I'll see if Becky can talk about it. She's the only other person that can talk about it that I know, at least. And I was so bummed when we couldn't get you for the Tears of the Kingdom coverage, because that was all over the place. And God, I played that game for like a month and a half straight. So I was just, yeah, it enveloped my life. It changed me as a person. Fucking love that game. Baldur's Gate 3 might be the best game that came out last year, but Zelda is still my number one, because fuck, dude, that game took me places I hadn't been to in a very long time. But I was like, well, if there's anybody I'm going to talk about with Zelda shit, it's probably Becky. So
I appreciate it.
I'm glad you could be on the show to discuss it, because
I was really excited. I was like antsy when you asked me. I'm like, all right.
I was pumped when you said you could do it. I was like, Becky's a pretty busy bitch. I don't know. If I can get her, but I'm going to try.
I'm taking master's classes right now, so I had to do my homework on Tuesday night. I can do this on Wednesday. I can do this. So I made it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We'll have to do it again with Braden, so we can all just be together for it. But
Hell yeah. I'd love that.
Nerd out with everybody.
You'll have to give me some grace, and I'll watch some more movies.
Yeah.
So I can come back.
Take your time. Take your time. Braden will be moved in. Hopefully he'll have some headphones, and we won't have to force guests on this show anymore. But it was still fun. Always is a pleasure. Yeah. So with that, I guess we are going to wrap today's show up. It went on a little longer than I expected. But that's okay. I will, but I bet it still won't go down too much, because there's not too much I want to cut out. That being said, Nerd Shit in the Dark, we come out every other Thursday, whether that's in the morning, in the afternoon, it just depends, but we're there on Thursday. Follow us everywhere, and Becky, thank you for being on the show. The Boosk.
You're welcome.
Becky the Boosk Arnold. I try to give everybody their little nickname thing, and luckily you already had one, so I was like, perfect.
Built in.
Yeah. And as always, good night, sleep tight, and don't let the shit bugs bite.
There he is. Stay shitty.
And he's not here, but Braden loves you. He does.